Good to have you back, Brandon Marshall. How you doing, bud?
Hey, I'm great. I'm great. Going into my 12th.
Are you really? I shortchanged you?
You shortchanged me.
My gosh.
You did.
Your 12th, your 12th NFL season. That's unbelievable. How excited are you right now? How fired up are you?
Hey, I'm great, man. I'm so excited. You know, it's I'm finally back home in Florida the last couple of days. It was a whirlwind, so it feels good to just kind of relax a little bit. I never felt that much energy in my, in the off season. Changing from one team to the next.
So how did this all work out? Did you ask for your release from the Jets? That's part of some of the things that I saw. How did this all come about, Brandon?
Yeah, so I did. I did ask for my release.
Okay, believe it. Okay, you did, and then the Giants came knocking. How did that work?
No, so obviously it's a process, and you go through that. I guess you put a criteria together of what you're looking for. So for me, it was figuring out what was best for me moving forward. I feel like I have a couple more years that where I can compete at a high level. I definitely take it 1 year at a time, but I wanted to finish strong, wanted to finish the right way of winning. So, when I decided to ask for the release, I sat down and put a list of teams together, went through the lay of the land, and compiled probably around like 6 or 7 teams that I thought could win now. And part of that criteria was obviously a championship organization, an established veteran quarterback, and number one receiver on the other side, and a team that had a defense that competes at a high level. So, I'm blessed because I got all of that and plus more, and you alluded to, me being able to stay right there in New York. It had nothing to really do with, my decision. I was prepared to, go out west if I had to, but I'm glad I could stay in an amazing city and in my same exact apartment overlooking the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, I got to say that. That's such a rarity, Brandon, that you don't have to move.
No.
You change teams and you don't have to move, and you are still just a turnpike up from the TV work that you've been so excellent at. What is that status for you with Showtime?
Yeah, as of right now, I'll be working with Showtime on a very limited basis. It won't be in the same capacity, but we're talking through that now. Everything happens so fast, so I still have to continue to sit down with Steven Espinoza and Pete Radovich and a team over there to work through the next steps. But it would not be in the same capacity.
Why is that? Did the Giants say that would be their wishes, or you feel like it's something you should step back from? Why not the same capacity?
Well, a bunch of things, but the main thing is we actually work on Tuesdays. So across the league, every NFL team have Tuesdays off. The Giants, we have Monday off. So we actually work on Tuesday. So logistically, it'll be extremely hard to do.
Brandon Marshall joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's your contact with Eli been so far?
Great. He was probably one of the first to reach out to me. Not even Eli. Archie Manning reached out to me,
Fantastic.
Too.
Come on now.
What's funny is right before I was coming on your show at the Super Bowl, so I think I came on, was that Friday or Saturday morning? And I'm in the bathroom, and I'm in one stall, and Archie's in the other. And I'm like, Archie, man, call Eli. There may be something going down in the next month. So Archie reminded me of that the other day when he reached out.
Amazing.
Yeah, usually it's tough to forget conversations one has in a men's room, Brandon, with another man. Understood.
Oh, man.
So right there, you at the Super Bowl was when you were beginning to think that this is it for you and the Jets, that this was over?
Right after the season, you sit down and you try to plan your off season accordingly, and I knew that was a possibility. There was a lot of talk, a lot of speculation, and you try to jump out ahead of it, and I just thought it was best for me and the team. You know, we have a room full of amazing wide receivers, so this speeds up their growth. Now I'm out the way, and those guys can get all those reps and those targets in a game, so I think this will be best for them and definitely for me. Where I'm at in my career.
Okay. Well, I got to get into this just a little bit here because, as you know, watching the Jets, Brandon, the last thing I was thinking watching the Jets is, man, is Brandon Marshall in the way? If only he was out of the way, maybe there would be more. Why did you feel that way? I mean, let's dig.
Look at where you just got to look at the direction the team is headed. We knew we were going to lose Fitzpatrick. He's a free agency, and it didn't like we were going to bring him back. We had a terrible year, so everything was up in the air. And having young quarterbacks on the roster, first and second year guys, I just think that's a great formula for those guys to grow together. Sometimes veterans like myself can get in the way because all I'm thinking about is Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And those guys are just thinking about, man, I just got to beat cover 2, or, I'm trying to figure out what cover 2 is. So, it's just we're in different places of our career. Those guys are trying to prove themselves and prove to the world that they belong. And I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. So, it can be difficult at times.
Okay, so then I'm a dot connector. That's what I do for a living, Brandon. Okay, I see dots, and I connect them. Okay. So,
yeah.
All right. So I see Jeremy Bates arrive on the Jets staff. Okay. I see.
Oh, here you go.
Okay. I see Jeremy Bates arrive on the Jets staff. So you're a dot connector too. I understand with whom I'm talking right now. Okay. So Jeremy Bates arrives. Brandon Marshall asks for his release within 10 days. Not even. Actually, that's not true. Within less than a week. There's an idea that Jay Cutler might wind up on the Jets. Are these dots connectable in any way, shape, or form, Brandon Marshall?
You know what? It sucks because I had some of my best years with Coach Bates. I love him to death. Not only just as a football head, but as a person. We're really close. But it had nothing to do with Jeremy Bates, and I wasn't even thinking about the possibility of Jay coming to New York. It was really about looking at the entire situation. So that would have been interesting if all three of us back together again, to say the least.
Well, then, in this regard, then I want this honest answer. Okay, I want the unvarnished Brandon Marshall answer.
No, I wouldn't have been comfortable with it.
Okay. That's where I was going to go. Okay. And so in that regard, too, knowing the New York market as you do and knowing that you are staying in the New York market and knowing it, do you think Jay Cutler is cut out for the New York market, Brandon Marshall?
I think he has the perfect personality for it. He can care less what anybody else says. He's going to do things the way he wants to do things, and he knows who he is. He's comfortable in that. I think it's the guys who struggle with their personality or their identity that, can really lose themselves in that New York market. So I think actually he has the perfect personality. Definitely, if he give him the opportunity, they're definitely going to pounce on him. But I think he'll be fine if that was a scenario, if there was a case where he, landed in New York.
Mm-hmm. And now that you're there, you and Odell Beckham are being teammates. What does that mean? How does this going to look for Giants fans and Shepard too, Eli, the whole bit? Walk me through how you're envisioning this positively, visualizing, Brandon.
A lot of dancing, man. A lot of dancing. I'm working on my moves. I don't have a lot of rhythm when it comes to dancing, so I'm gonna try to keep up with those young guys. But on the field, I think that I'm going to take a lot of pressure off of him. I'm gonna make his job easier. That's something that I'm excited to do. In the locker room, in our room, I think I have a wealth of experience that our young receivers can pull from, both good and bad, and it will happen organically. So when he wants to, lean on me or ask me for advice, I'll be there to give it to him, and also our younger receivers. So I'm excited just to, be an asset for them and also just ball out on the field. At the end of the day, it comes down to winning games and producing, doing your job. So if I do my job, I think it makes everyone else's job easier, and it takes pressure off of other guys.
I couldn't be happier for you, Brandon. You know that. I mean, this is.
I know, man.
It's a great spot. It's a great spot.
It's great.
It is a great spot for you, and the fact you and your wife and your family doesn't have to move. I mean, good for you. Good for you.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
And well, when you are out here in Los Angeles, I want you in studio. One last thing. I have a proposition with my friend here, Chris Law, who you've met many times. He went to Penn State.
What's up, Brandon?
I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind just using your knowledge and helping us out. Once again, the honest Brandon Marshall answer best you can. What happens first? The hole in the ground, just that is here, the Rams Stadium, when you fly into Los Angeles, see this monster hole in the ground. They're building their new stadium here in Los Angeles. What happens first? The club level gets built, or Christian Hackenberg starts a game in the National Football League for any of the 32 teams?
Oh, my gosh.
Would you care to chime in on this, Brandon?
Yeah, well, I do not care. I don't want to chime in on it. But,
Good enough. No, stop. That's okay. That's okay. You
know what? Yeah, I don't know. Christian is a guy who works extremely hard. He has all the talent, and I definitely can see him starting a game this year. I can see him going into camp starting.
Okay.
Bryce Petty, he probably made a 40-50% jump from where he was his rookie year to the second year. If he can make that type of jump, then there's definitely going to be competition in camp. I can tell you that.
Okay, good. And in the meantime, I am going to buy my club level seats later on today. I'm going to get in on that.
Brandon, can I ask you?
Really?
Brandon, can I ask you one question? Your guys' offensive coordinator reportedly told Todd Bowles that he was leaving the team after the season last year, prior to the season. Was the team made aware of that when you have a first-year rookie quarterback and second-year quarterback on the roster?
He's trying to.
I don't understand why the coordinator would tell the coach it's his last year when you have that young a talent at the quarterback position.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's good business, actually. Coach Chan's been around the game for a long time, right? Yeah. And I just think that's respect. Yeah. And he's done a great job, a tremendous job, and he's definitely left a positive imprint on our game. So to me, I think that's great. That's great business. It gives coach time to prepare and plan.
I agree, Brandon.
And, yeah.
So in other words, Law, tell it walking all the way back to State College, Pennsylvania.
Fair enough, Brandon.
Tell it walking.
Good luck with the G-Men, except against the Eagles.
Brandon, I love you. I'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Congrats again. There you go. There's Brandon Marshall.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.